You know, a lot of people want to assume that the life of a pool guy is all these backyard fantasies. Let me tell you, that's just a very small part of what we do. Now you ride along with me. I'm going to show you what it's like to be a real pool guy. It's full of surprises. And I know this is a long video, but the reason why I put it together and I'm putting it out there is because I really think it might help somebody. If you're kind of a novice into working on pool equipment, this is really going to take you through a lot of the things that you're going to have to do repairs on. So it kind of, the investigation ends up going over a lot of the different sorts of leaks you're going to have to come across and work on. So I'd say put in the time, watch it, and see if you enjoy it. See if you actually know what's wrong before I figure it out or whatever. Have fun. So check it out. We got this spa here. The client was saying was draining down, and then the pool over here is filling up. The client is saying that the pool water is now higher now that the spa has drained down, which normally you think the spa drains into the pool. I've checked your water leveler also here, and the water was not on when I got here. Yeah, no biggie, right? Because it's just a check valve. Spas drain down into the pool, and that's why the check valve's there, and when they wear out we replace them. But it's not that simple, because this is actually two separate bodies of water. They've got their own pumps, they've got their own filter, they got their own everything. There is no connecting valves, there's no pool spa valve to differentiate. They are two completely separate bodies of water. However, the current situation is the spa is draining down and the pool is filling up. How is that possible? Well, I'm going to show you. Let me show you what's going on here so far. Now, they called about their spa draining down, and the equipment over on this side, not this side, this is the pool equipment. You can see this leak here, we'll get that to a sec. Spa equipment over here. He said the spa was draining down, so the first thing I look for is check valves, which this is the filter pump. So the first thing I saw was this one. I thought that one, no, but that's the back, that's off the backwash, that can't be it. I look at the line, there's no check valve on here. The only check valve on the system is for the jets pump here, so I'm assuming it's here. Now if you look, when I turn this on, I don't see the door drop down, so I'm thinking possibly that door is just completely gone. Look here, we'll turn on the spa jets, and you see there's nothing that drops down. I know it's moving the water there, so I think that's what's going on with that. But as you can see, this leak over here having to do with the pool, you might assume it's either these pumps or that filter, but if you really look at everything, I've touched the bottoms of the motors and everything, the leak is actually coming right here. Really common. These drain plugs, gotta replace that O-ring, real simple. So I'll do that, that'll fix all that leaking. And then I will put on a new check valve here, and that should stop the backflow. Alright, so now back to the truck to see if I can find some of those parts that I need. Setting up for the job here. Got my magnetic bowl, my drill. Already laid out the parts that I'm going to be using. We got this check valve we're going to swap out. I'll shut off this valve, so hopefully that'll cut down the amount of water that comes out. I expect a bunch of water to gush out of there when I open it. And then I got my O-ring here for the heater valve. So we'll get started. Alright, so after I replaced that check valve there, which really wasn't that bad, you can see here it's really not that bad.
I was realizing I was getting some issues with this diverter valve, trying to close it off. It wouldn't move good, so I opened it up, and as you can see, the whole bottom of the diverter is broken off and it's stuck in there.
So yeah, that's why that door didn't drop on the check valve, was because that diverter was broken and stuck in the port position, blocking the pump from really getting any water. It was just barely pushing through. So it looked like the pump was running, but with no pressure gauge, I didn't really know.
So if I can pull it out, replace that.
After I put the camera down, I was able to get that valve out. I had to use a big old wrench and get that out of there. Some big old grip pliers. It was stuck in there really good because somebody had put some silicone on there, and then that diverter ripped apart and got lodged in there. And anyways, once I was able to get that out, then I was able to turn the pump back on, even with the valve cap off. Because, you know, with it below water level, that's why the water is gushing out with the pump off. But I had to leave the pump off until I could get that diverter valve out. Otherwise, I would have never got it out.
I already violated rule number 1, which is don't wear your nice sunglasses while you're doing the work. It's always going to get messy, even if you think it's going to not involve any mess at all. See if I have something in the truck. Check it out right now. I do believe this is gonna work. I just need the diverter. So I'm gonna unscrew these screws, pull the diverter out, and pop it into this new one. All right, this is not gonna work. See, I tried to pull this one out of there. It's not the same size. It's a different brand. Boy, let's see if I got rummaging through the bucket, and I found the perfect one. It was already ready to go for me. Look at that. Wouldn't have had to take apart the 3-port. Nothing. Oh well, I'm glad it's in here. So let's go throw this in. All right, now that I got that on there, and it works really good now. We got, everything moves perfect, and it doesn't look like it's leaking at all. You know, I did see water over here at the pump, so it looked like there's a shaft seal leak, which would explain why the water leaves the spa.
See, at this point, I started thinking, what am I doing? This is 2 different bodies of water, so it's not backflowing into the pool. It's got to be leaking out. I forgot about the fact that it is raising the pool water, because I'm just trying to make sense of this
system. So it was leaving the body of water, and must have been coming out of the shaft seal, I'm guessing, right there. So I did see some water there. I'll double check and see how bad that is. But for now, we got this fixed up. So I didn't really like this. See a bunch of air in there. And I just thought about how I didn't put new O-rings on that 3-port valve there. So to test it, I shut the jets off, and then you could just see water coming up out of there. So I'm gonna go get some O-rings for that, and then we should be all set there. My 3-port valve O-ring set, all greased up and ready to go, with my magnetic bowl to put the little screws on so I don't lose everything. Oh, I'm gonna need a flathead screwdriver to pop the lid off, and then I'm just gonna do it as quick as possible, leaving the pump running, and it's able to keep it from getting too bad, so I can leave it running and do this repair while it's running. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that. You don't see no air in there. That is running. So now we're gonna double check, and what we're gonna do though right now is turn the pump off just to double check, make sure that nothing leaks up out of here. Oh yeah, bone dry. All right, so that should do it. And I replaced this O-ring here on his heater, so that should stop all this leaking over here as well.
You know, it just dawned on me, I'm probably being really stupid. Because if it's leaking the water out of the spa, and I'm not seeing water at the equipment. It's got to be coming out of the backwash valve, because the backwash valve is piped underground, and I wouldn't see the water coming out of there. And a lot of times those multi-ports start leaking, and the water flows down through the backwash valve, and so you don't realize it. And he doesn't have an autofill on there, so the water just drops down. But he said that there's no water coming out of the backwash port, and which is located over here, I believe. I believe that right there is his backwash. So we'll see if, no matter what, I'm going to go ahead and install a ball valve on there so that we can make sure that there's no water coming out of that. And then we'll see what happens to the water levels. Last time, you would remember this entire area was full of water, and it was because of that drain plug. There's a tiny bit of a leak going on here now. It looks like probably is one of these unions here. I gotta check it out. Something's dripping off that filter though. And there it is, flowing out of that pipe. Now, I think one thing I want to try is also backwashing the other pool and seeing if it comes out that same pipe. Because if it does, then there stands a chance that the pool and spa are connected through the backwash line. Which actually makes a lot of sense, because if it's leaking down out that backwash valve, and it is attached somehow to the pool, then they wouldn't see it coming out of that pipe necessarily if it's going back into that pool. Either way, by fixing that putting a ball valve on there, that should solve the problem. It's an interesting little puzzle here. Oh yeah, absolutely, it's coming out that same line. Okay, so somehow they're tied in underground. That makes a lot of sense on this mystery. And now I'm also seeing that little drip that I saw on the pool side. When I put it into backwash mode on the pool, it dripped out that backwash union there. So they're connected, and that water is somehow going up into the pool. That's crazy. Hey. Now what you're currently looking at is, this is the spa side, this is the pool side. Two completely different systems. They do not share the same body of water. There's no pool spa valve. There's spa equipment here, pool equipment there. The pool equipment goes to the pool and back here. The spa equipment goes to the spa and back here. And somehow the pool's filling up and the spa is draining down, right? So, after all kinds of BS, I finally figured out what was going on. And here it is. What you're looking at right there is a check valve. And right there is a check valve. And they're both coming off of the backwash valve, which I thought was really odd. I couldn't imagine why it was that there was a check valve on the backwash. If you know what a backwash is for, you would know why that seems a little bit weird. Now normally what we have are these ball valves, as you see here, to shut it off, so the water's not flowing out to the street in the event that there's a leak or something like that, right? So I figured out what was going on because of doing backwashes, and then I saw that the backwash, whenever I backwash the filter pump, or if I backwash this spa pump filter, the water goes to the same outlet at the street. That's when it occurred that they are connected at some point, and it's this point here. Under the ground right here somehow, or somewhere under the ground here, these two pipes meet together and tee and go out to the street. And that's why the installer, the builder, put in check valves, because if you were to backwash this, it's going to go out of this pipe here, right? So if I backwash, let's say I backwash the spa right now, if the pool backwash didn't have a check valve, then it would push that water up into here. So it hits this check valve and stops, right? Or it's supposed to. The check valve's in here. So that's the reason why those are in there. Now, what happened is everything is failing. It's an old system now, and things are going bad. We got this multi-port over here on the pool filter, and probably this multi-port. Well, for sure this multi-port over here on the spa, and possibly the multi-port over here on the pool, I'm assuming, are leaking. So that water will come out of that backwash because the gasket's bad, and then it'll flow down this backwash. And if this poolside pump is on, it'll suck that water out and up into the pool system, and so then it's drawing water from the spa into the pool because it's on in that vacuum, you know, that force, that flow, whatever, is pulling that water from that pipe up into this pool here, and that's why. So I installed these shutoff valves to completely shut that off, but we're going to want to also replace the multi-ports.
I'm gonna wrap this up with the lesson, which is that, you know, I could have saved myself a lot of trouble if I'd really looked at the situation and thought about why it was the builder put those check valves in there. Because if I would have thought about it, then that would have made me solve the problem a lot quicker. However, though, had I not, you know, I wouldn't have discovered that there was an issue with that diverter. So they probably were just experiencing really poor flow and may have had an issue with that for a long time. And they probably have a much better experience in their spa now. And I wouldn't even known about it because it really didn't look like a problem. I guess eventually I had to come around to having to do something about that. But anyways, so live and learn. No big deal. Hope you learned something. And I'll be back with more.